And I think that that's the day and age that we're living in, is that we're getting used to being frustrated with technology because it doesn't work flawlessly. And boy, I wish there was someone to talk to. Well, hey, guess what? You can in our agencies.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there. This is Playbook, the Insurance Dudes Playbook, episode 1 of this. Number one.
Happy New Year, Mr. Jason.
Happy New Year, Mr. Craig.
Well, looks like we made it to 2022.
2022. Yep.
What's in store for this year?
Well, I think you and I have talked about this a few times, and especially when we're coaching agents, is the number one thing that has made the biggest impact on both of our agencies.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
It's having those daily sales meetings.
Yep. 100%. And it doesn't even have to be sales. It's like the daily meeting.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you have anybody virtual anymore at your agency?
I do not.
You do not. Okay.
But there's multiple locations, so we will get on Zoom in order to have everybody connect.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I still have a few people that are virtual, and that is an option in the agency at this point. So we've noticed that, I mean, obviously you have to get everybody on the same page, especially if they're remote. If they're remote, and I tell people this all the time, two meetings are a must, just to kind of do a check-in, one to start off the day and one to kind of check in throughout the day. And I think that's huge. And I think with everybody, it's going over your core values or going over which direction the boat that you're rowing in. So whether it be sales or service or any other part, or it could be, I don't think management needs to meet as frequently, but just kind of, it doesn't even have to be a meeting. It could be a huddle, right? It could be a quick 5-minute, get everybody on the same page.
Sure. Yeah. It does a number of things, right? For one, it creates that consistency. People want to be part of it, right? If you have an organization that you want everybody to be part of, you have to bring them together and make that team environment. So having them all meet at a certain time creates that. And then it creates that consistency, right? There's an expectation that this is going to happen. And then with that consistency, it reinforces those actions, whatever they are, right? The number of calls, the number of quotes, how you're doing the quote. And then I remember before doing it thinking, what are we even going to talk about? What is there to talk about that we could do every day? But when you break apart that sales process or you break apart your telefunnel, you have so many different micro topics that you can focus on. And with 5 minutes goes like lickety split, right?
Right. Yep. 100%. One of the things that I love that Miguel did last week is with our tele team, we don't do consistent meetings with them, and we've had them with us for a while. So we haven't had a meeting with them with both teams in quite a long time. So they brought everybody on. We realized like, hey, we got to bring everybody together. So, and we want our agents to help train our tele team, and because culturally it's different in the Philippines. So we brought all the teams together, and Miguel had them share something interesting about themselves. And everybody shared some really cool personal stuff. One of our TMs is a wedding singer, and she sings. So she actually sang on the call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Super cool. They shared some really cool stuff. And then at the end, Miguel like dropped the bomb and said, this is what you need to be doing. This is the connection. Talking to people about like real stuff is how you connect with them and keep them on the phone. And it was like, oh my gosh, like so cool. Like they understood and everybody got off the phone and I heard from everybody that, wow, I didn't know that about this person. And that you could see and hear by the way people were talking that it brought everybody together in a different way.
Yeah. It's really interesting because you do that, right? You're doing the thing that translates to when you're actually doing the quoting is the same thing that creates the connection, right? So you start doing those activities. So you're meeting with your team, they're meeting with each other, they're getting better at connecting on a human-to-human level. Well, that practice in and of itself will translate to the calls where you have to connect to create rapport so that you can sell better. So it reminds me of one of the guests that you're going to hear from later in the month here, Jason Killings, where he's going to talk about being a pilot, and you actually become a good airplane pilot by doing it, right? By flying and by teaching people. It's the same thing, right? It's the act of doing is what creates the ultimate learning.
Yeah. And I think going forward, especially this year or any other year, is that, the technology is moving forward and we have tons of apps. Oh gosh, way too many at this point, but tons of apps, tons of programs, tons of SaaS products. And what is our competitive advantage at this point? Everybody thinks that, software technology and all that stuff, but really because everything is becoming so software technology based, now the competitive advantage is the connection. You cannot recreate that connection with non-humans. It just doesn't happen. And it's almost like Craig and I use a million different systems between the agency and everything that we do. And it's like, how many times have you guys felt like you're using a technology and it like doesn't work or something? It's like, I just wish I could just call someone and just have them fix it, And I think that that's the day and age that we're living in, is that we're getting used to being frustrated with technology because it doesn't work flawlessly. And boy, I wish there was someone to talk to. Well, hey, guess what? You can in our agencies. That is our competitive advantage, using the technology to leverage us to create those connection points.
Right. I think, the technology isn't the solve for conversion. The technology is the solve for making the connection, but you still have to have that human interaction in order to create the conversion.
Right. And the connection really comes like that human element. Like if you tell back to the telemarketers telling their stories, all of a sudden our agents felt way more connected to the telemarketers. Just like when you're doing a quote, if you start talking about their family and your family together, all of a sudden there's a huge connection. People feel bad leaving a company or something if there's a human behind it with, a family and stuff like that, like those are the competitive advantages. So I think going forward in this next year, one of the things that I like, the way I'm looking at a lot of this is that connection point on the sale, that connection point in the agency, because that is a sale, right? You want the telemarketers to work for the agents. You want the agents to work for the telemarketers. You want like everybody to work for each other. And that's what defines that great culture.
Right.
And I just think that really getting people connecting and meetings are the number one way to do it. And you can talk to Miguel's point, you can talk, what's your favorite thing? What did you go through this weekend? Because that's the real stuff. And that's what makes, like, if you have somebody in your agency, we've had people that, they get sick a lot or something, right? Well, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have ever felt this way, but like as an agency owner, you hear a lot of the inside scoop. And then you you have another agent that's like, yeah, but she's doing this and she gets away with this. And it's like, yeah, but she's going through this and this and that, right?
Right.
How much better would it have been if she shared those stories with the other agent and the other agent said, man, I'm so sorry you're going through that. You know what? I'm going to help you out more. You know what I mean? It's a different element. It's the same thing. She's still going through the same thing. That other person is still working, but like if they just connected more, they would work differently and a lot of those inefficiencies, like complaining, wasting time with whatever thoughts or whatever, would be gone.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Communication. Meetings are so important.
Well, yeah, it brings you back in touch, because if you're just on your island over in your seat as a sales producer and you're just doing quote after quote after quote after quote, then you're only focused on that. And that meeting creates that team environment. And it's spectacular how that energy develops when everybody is connected like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's it. If you're not doing daily meetings, do them. Try it.
Do them. Say, oh, I'm not, there's no better time than the new year. It's time to renew everything. Renovatio, just make it happen. You tell the team, we're going to do a meeting every day. And it doesn't matter, as long as one other person is there. If everybody else is sick, who cares? If it's just two of you in the office, who cares? Have the meeting, because it's going to it's like that reboot. It's that, okay, it's a new day. Right. Yep. And you can always just ask, what, anybody got anything going on and anything big going on in their life that we need to know about? Be that family.
Yep. And that's a page from the playbook.
I think it's the first page.
The first page.
The first page of the playbook. Your next episode is going to be with Justin Brock, and it is awesome.
Fire.
So make sure you hit subscribe, and that thing will pop into your little podcast feed, and you'll be ready to rock here in a couple days.
And that's a page from the playbook.
Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.